What does a panic attack or an anxiety attack feel like?
It feels like a heart attack.
Literally.
It feels like a heart attack because it's almost like it's similar to a heart attack. It's just a step below it. Because if your sympathetic nervous system is activating to go into flight or flight response, right? Then I'm going to feel, I'm going to sweat. I used to vomit. That's how bad it was for me, because my nervous system and the amount of tension I held in my body, you got to understand the brain and then the body's response is tension. So if I'm constantly tensing up all over my life, I had 6-pack abs and I don't even work on my abs at the gym. Partially is that genetics, and the other times is me just constantly contracting my stomach.
He's showing off, Spirit. First 1,000 squats.
Hey.
I got my eye on you.
I don't know.
I got my eye on you, David.
He's trying to be on GQ magazine after this.
Yeah.
So listen to this though. So listen to this though. Think about your shoulders constantly tensing.
Right.
Or your jaw constantly tensing. That's because you can't speak your truth. So everything is locking up. So you not only have a mental, emotional issue, you have a neurophysiological issue within your body. So
and
that's
it feels like a heart attack. It feels like you're literally.
It feels
heart attack.
Feels like a heart attack, and then for some people who are in deeper states of freeze, they can faint. Because fainting is the way to try to escape the predator. And these are all instinctual. It's not, I chose this. This is called neuroception, where my brain is constantly. Because if I have to think to act, I'm already dead.
So let me ask Spirit a question, because I know a lot of people, Spirit, a lot of young people, a lot of millennials. Tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me if I'm wrong. I could be wrong. I'm willing.
No, I will.
Yes, I do know. In my generation, maybe we suffered from anxiety, and maybe we suffered from panic, and we did not either have permission or give ourselves permission or have the resources or the tools to find and name it. But with people who are my son's generation, I sense and I hear from them either a much greater willingness to name what they're going through, much greater capacity for the experience of anxiety and panic. Son's generation, so many of his friends talk to me about the anxiety that they feel. Wondering, what is it that so many people, either of a particular generation, and if that doesn't apply, of our community more generally, that makes this anxiety and this panic so endemic to our being, a way of being in the world right now?
Yeah, well, what we know is that it is not something that's new, but it is two things, as you said, having names in order to characterize symptoms that have always been there, but also a more willingness by our society in general to talk about these issues. When we talk about intergenerational trauma, self-medicating behaviors isn't something that's new, but you hear us talk about it in that context, self-medicating behaviors. But now if I talk to my baby boomers about grandpa coming home and having a drink after work and beating up on grandma, they'll go, oh yeah, that happened, right? If I talk about schizophrenia or bipolar disorder, now we have language and titles for that. But if I go back and talk to my grandparents, everybody had the crazy uncle who always lived at home that everybody just looked out for. So these are not new issues. And what we know, to be quite honest with you, is when you talk about prevalence, we know now that approximately 50% of all mental illnesses develop before an individual is 14 years of age, and 75% before an individual is 24 years of age. So what that says is these are not latent or later on issues that we're having to deal with. These are mental health issues that are persistent and prevalent through our childhood, our adolescence, and our early adulthood, that, as you're hearing, as David said, by the time he got to his 20s, and I was there too, I remember the panic attacks. I remember having to make real life choices about doing my work to heal myself because my body couldn't deal with those stressors either once I got to a certain point. And so what it's about is really educating us, educating our people, talking to us about just being Black in America is a trauma all in and of itself each and every day. So if we don't understand our journey, and then we don't understand our individual experiences, We are constantly under stress all the time, and our bodies can do it. You know, it's not a question of can it be done, but it is what does your body have to endure in order for you to show up in your life every day.
No, you just said something that was the very next question I was about to ask you. Is, can mental health issues, particularly panic and anxiety, can they be fixed? Can it be reversed?
Yes. Yes, absolutely. I tell people all the time that your body having these responses is your alarm system. It is your body's way of telling you something is wrong. Houston, we have a problem. And so when it is doing that, it is looking for ways to recover. It is looking for ways to not only tell you, because see, pain is an indicator. Pain is a motivator. So when your body is in pain, it requires you to shift. Right? It's the thing that says, pay attention to this part of me. And so unfortunately, when we're talking about our mental health and wellness, we've learned and we've been conditioned not to pay attention to it, right? That we've learned to just keep going, that black don't crack, but we know it does from the inside out, that men don't cry, but we know that they do, they just cry in the dark. We've learned all of these.
I cry in the light too.
Oh, amen. And I wish that everybody did, so that we can get the responses that we need, and also to understand that tears are full of the toxins that are coming out of our body. So it's okay to release and let it go. But we haven't had the education around mental health and wellness to really understand it, to really take care of ours, to take care of the children that we're stewards over, and then to take care of our community as we should. Instead, we take on the struggle and the stress, and it only makes us more sick. And then we toxify one another as we walk around hurting people, instead of healing people.
But it can be healed.
It absolutely can be.
And it can be reversed.
It absolutely can be. You can absolutely recover.
To me, that's so powerful to hear and to say, because watch tonight and they're struggling with whatever's going on in their mental health. It is so important that we put it out before the world, before the youth, before powers greater than us, that this can be addressed.